Okay, so it says I'm live. Apologies for being late. So just bear with me. Bear with me a minute. Let me just make sure I'm live. Okay, yes, I'm live. Right, let me turn the sound off. So if you're watching live, press the like button, press the love heart button, put hashtag live in the comments below. If you're watching this on replay, so if you're watching this tomorrow, today it's Monday, if you're watching this tomorrow or some point in the future, throw me a hashtag replay in the comments below. Just say hello. The reason to get you to comment, like, love at the start is when you do that, Facebook basically says, look, this, you want to see this. Okay. So by you interacting first thing, saying hello, not only does it kind of get you warmed up for this evening, gets you engaged, make sure you're listening, but also it's going to then start showing this to more people in the group. And I want to help as many people as possible. So a little bit of a new format. My lives I go live every single Monday at 8 p.m. and they're always different. So sometimes we interview a client, we interview a past client. I'm going to potentially look at getting some of our coaches in as well. I haven't spoken to them about this, so I need to speak to them about it. But if you'd love to see one of our coaches present one evening, or maybe even an interview with them, comment below and let me know. But it's something I might approach them about. If any of them are watching, don't panic. Obviously, I'm going to ask you first. But I just think it might be quite interesting rather than just seeing me all the time. Anyway, I'm going to have a slight change. So basically, my lives are generally half an hour to an hour. And when I talk, I love to talk. I want to give as much value as possible, but I'm going to try and streamline that because I know people haven't got that kind of time. So I'm going to try and cut my lives down as close to 15 minutes as possible. Now, the problem with that is I can't give as much value as I would love to, but hopefully it'll be more engaging, it'll be quicker, it'll be easier for you to digest. So anyway, I'm going to get on with it tonight. I did try and use a different streaming software, which looks a lot better than Zoom, but for some reason it's not working. So tonight is all about calorie counting. And the title is why you need to learn to lose weight without calorie counting if you want to be able to keep it off. And here's how to do that. So I'm going to kind of walk you through some of the stuff that we do with our clients. If you're excited, throw me a hashtag excited. Like if you're excited for tonight to learn a bit more about, losing weight without calorie counting, how, why it's so important, then throw me a hashtag excited. So just so you're ready for tonight. So what you're going to discover tonight, you're going to discover the key reasons why we encourage our clients to stop calorie counting. Like we do have some that when they start with us, not all of them, but some do start with calorie counting. But by the time that they finish with us, we try to wean them off them. And if they stay for a period of time, nearly all of our clients that stay over 6 months or more, they are completely off calorie counting and they end up, maintaining their weight loss or losing more weight without calorie counting and doing it on their own. No more coaching after 6 months. And tonight I'm going to talk about why calorie counting isn't a long-term strategy. Okay. And it's, potentially ruin your social life. It's probably at times not the most enjoyable way of doing this. And I'm going to talk about the other areas of your life that actually need to be addressed first if you actually want long-term success. So if you're not aware, if you're new to the group, by the way, throw me a hashtag newbie if you're new, if this is your first live, if you've never interacted before, whether that's live or replay, throw me a hashtag newbie. One thing you'll learn is I'm all about long-term success. Okay. We're not about diets, quick fixes, helping women lose massive amounts of weight only to see them regain it again. Our goal is to help people do this for the rest of their lives on their own. Okay, to prepare them within 3 to 12 months so that they can do this for the rest of their life. So the other thing is to give you a bit of an incentive to stick around to the end. As I said, I should be trying to hit within 15 minutes. Obviously, I might talk because I do like talking. I might go a little bit longer than that, but to make sure you stick around, I'm going to go through a task with you that I think will really help you. And it's a similar task to what we do with some of our clients, but I'm also going to give you some 5 top tips to take away at the end. So make sure you stick around right to the end. And if you don't believe us, if you're not sure about this, I don't know what to say. We've got so many success stories now. We've literally helped hundreds of women, and pretty much all of the women that have worked with us have come off calorie counting, have left us and continue to lose weight, have left us and maintain their weight loss. So, there are so many examples of this. and I'm not going to go on about this, but essentially we have helped a lot of women now, and especially women that are struggling through the menopause or coming up to the menopause. Now, before I get into this, I want to make this super clear. Okay. Calories count. So what I mean by this is we are science-backed. So we are nutritionists. We're very highly qualified professionals. And when I say we, I mean me and my team. So I don't do any of the coaching anymore. It wasn't long ago that I was, and I was the one that was doing all the coaching at the start and taking all the clients. And obviously now we have a team of coaches, and they're all highly qualified. So what we do is we go with the evidence. And what I mean by that is I don't mean Netflix documentaries. I don't mean Google searches or what other people say on Instagram. I'm talking about peer-reviewed literature from, the studies that we've been presented from our education. And, our coaches have all gone through exams, spent tens of thousands, and worked with hundreds of women. We've got coaches with more than 20 years experience. Now, with that in mind, calories count. Okay. The only way, okay, this is pure physics. This is science. The only way that fat loss can happen is to consume less calories than your body needs. Okay. You'll hear people say, eat less, move more. I hate that. I hate that phrase, because the problem with it is that it doesn't tell you anything. That's like telling a football team, all you got to do today, lads, to win the game is score more goals than the opposition. It's not a plan. It's not a strategy. It's not helpful. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people now that understand that it's all about a calorie deficit. But how do you create a calorie deficit? How do you do it in a way that's sustainable? And that's the most important thing, doing it in a way that fits in with you, your lifestyle is sustainable, because there is only one way to lose weight. All diets, if they have ever worked, if you have ever lost fat, it's because you consumed less calories than what you need. However, what people then confuse that with is calorie counting. Okay. You don't have to count calories. You can consume less calories without counting them. Magic, isn't it? And this is how all diets have worked. So when people say, but how do you do that if you don't count them? Well, if you've ever done a diet, or if you've ever lost weight, you've done that by being in a calorie deficit. You've done that by consuming less calories. Which is basically saying you've done it without counting them. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. But there are so many problems with calorie counting. Like, I like calorie counting for some people in certain situations for a short period of time. And I can obviously explain that, but there are so many reasons why it isn't a great solution. It's essentially another diet method. Like, the first thing is you're unlikely to be accurate. Okay, there was a research study done that compared dietitians to the general population. This was a fairly recent study, and they knew, both groups, the dietitians and the general population, knew that they were being observed for their ability to calorie count, to track their diet. Now, the dietitians, you think, right, they do this day in, day out, they knew they'd been observed, you think they'd be like pretty spot on. On average, they were 200 calories out. They either, like, when they were tracking, they either put down that they consumed 200 calories more or less than what they actually consumed on average. The general population, from all the studies that are out there, generally inaccurate by 400 to 1,000 calories. And there's so many reasons for this, i.e. weighing, measuring, also the fact that food labels are allowed to be up to 20% inaccurate. So, if something's labeled as 500 calories, it could be anywhere between 400 and 600. Okay. So there's a massive gap there. Or, if you're using MyFitnessPal, you put in a food, there'll be a list of about 100 different options, and which option you pick may not be the right one. So there's loads of issues with that. The next kind of issue with that is calorie counting. If you're going out for dinner, how are you going to count calories? If you're eating at a friend's house, are you going to ask your friend, well, how much did you put in that? Like, how much did you give me? What was the exact weight? What about if someone at home cooks? Are you going to ask them to literally write down everything that you ate and the exact amounts? Like, can you start to see the problems with calorie counting as a long-term solution? Now, the other thing is there are millions and millions of free calorie calculators online, and a lot of them will give you different numbers. So which is the right calorie goal? But here's the big thing, and this is kind of point number 3 I was talking about at the start. It doesn't get to the root of the problem. Calorie counting is a method just to tell you how many calories you've consumed. That doesn't mean that you can't overeat. It's not magic. It doesn't all of a sudden stop you from over consuming. So let's say that one of the reasons that you overeat is because of your stress management. Let's say you have a really stressful job, and therefore when you get in from work, you reach for the biscuits, or, you know, at the end of the day, you reach for the bottle of wine as comfort, whatever it is. Now, I'm just giving one example. It could be emotional eating. It could be because of poor sleep, because sleep helps regulate your appetite. It could be so many reasons, but let's say it's stress. Calorie counting is not going to solve your stress management issues. Yeah, it will make you aware that you're eating too much, but it's not going to solve the problem. So hopefully, by the way, let me know, does this make sense? Comment below, makes sense. If this makes sense, comment below. Now, there are other solutions out there, and I'm going to go through some of them and highlight them. So diet clubs, for example, you don't have to calorie count at a diet club, which is great. There's a great community to a lot of them, like you're with local people, typically friends, family, colleagues. So you've got that kind of support network. You've got people to help, you know, you to go and keep you motivated. And it can be clear. I know that I speak to a lot of women and say that it isn't clear and they keep changing their systems, but you know, it's eat this, don't eat that. But the problem with it is you might not be counting calories, but you're still counting something. And the big problem for me, and what the data, the research shows, is that the restriction in terms of sins and the views of certain foods are good and certain foods are bad actually causes a real long-term problem with your relationship with food. And that's an issue. If you don't have a good relationship with food and there's guilt and there's shame, actually what the research shows is that that leads to long-term binge restrict. So this restriction, you're not allowed certain foods, and then binging. What the research actually shows is long-term, you consume more of that food. And it's a made up system. There is no such thing as a free food. You can't eat as much as you like of anything. There is no such thing as red and green foods or speed foods. Like, I'll be honest with you, like as someone who is science backed, I hate that term, speed foods. There is no foods in the world. There are no legal substances in the world that actually speed up your metabolism and help you lose weight. It's not backed by science. It's nonsense. It's a made up system, which, and I'm going to be really, really blunt with you and show my true feelings. And I do this because I'm passionate and I want to help people. It's a made up system to have repeat customers. Think about it. If at £20 a month, it would solve everything for you and you could do it on your own for the rest of your life, they wouldn't have a business model. Like my hairdresser, my barber is £20 a month, roughly. I get my hair cut every month. If I learned how to cut my own hair after a few months of going to him, he'd be out of business in no time. It's the same understanding. And then obviously they sell their products. You don't need their products. You can eat normal food. The other thing, and this is going back to the root, there's no support with mindset and lifestyle. Now, a lot of people will tell me diet clubs are all about a lifestyle. A lifestyle includes activity, includes sleep, includes stress, includes confidence, includes every aspect of your life. That's what your lifestyle is made up of. Just talking about foods, sins, red and green, good and bad, just talking about your diet alone is not a lifestyle approach. A lifestyle approach is a true approach which covers every area of your life. And from what I've got is no support with that. Now, tell me if you're watching this, is what I'm saying true? Like, is that your experience, or have I got it wrong? I'm really passionate about this because I want to help people, but I'm more than happy to be challenged and obviously understand it from other people's perspective. Another approach potentially that people use is PTs. Now, again, there are some great PTs out there. But the problem with seeing a PT, one is they could be really expensive. In my local area, a PT for 1 hour is £60 to £200 for a good PT that actually gets results. But the focus is exercise. Now, the positives are you're going to learn loads about moving well. You're going to learn loads about exercise. You're getting someone one-to-one, and you're getting someone that's more knowledgeable. Like diet clubs are run by, Steve in the office, or, Susan. She got to her goal weight once. She might regain the weight, but it doesn't matter. She got there once. Whereas a PT is at least has some knowledge, and they will have some understanding of nutrition and calories and stuff like that. However, they don't typically, now I'm generalizing here because there are some amazing PTs. Like we've got a couple of PTs on our team that have both. They have the personal trainer qualification, and they have that level 4+ nutrition qualification. So a lot of PTs will have like weekend courses, nutrition courses, or they'll do like precision nutrition, which still talks about like carbs potentially being bad. That's not true. If you want someone to actually help you with your diet and have a really good understanding of lifestyle impacts, you probably need someone who's completed like the BTN Practical Academy or Mac Nutrition, which are like year-long programs of study. They cost thousands of pounds, and there's exams at the end. And this is, all of our coaches have that. And the problem with most PTs is they're not knowledgeable in those areas. So therefore, they will give you a generic meal plan. First of all, unless they're a registered dietitian and they work in a clinical setting, no one should be giving you a strict meal plan. Eat this for breakfast, this for lunch, this for dinner, because of the risk of malnutrition, deficiencies, all the other dangers with that. In fact, a really bad story recently, a local PT to me gets great results, but he gives meal plans, and he's not allowed, and he shouldn't be doing that. There was a young girl, she's in her 20s, went to see him, and because of the impact on her hormones, because she was deficient because of the meal plan, she lost her voice. She's now in rehab to get her voice back. She's a wannabe singer. Like, she's a very, very good local singer, but she's now having to start again. And I know so many horror stories. So the other problem with meal plans is, think about what are you going to do long term, because you can't follow a meal plan forever. You're going to get bored of it. Or they will just literally say, here's a calorie goal, stick to that, or here's your macros. Now, macros, you don't need to count macros. It's complicated. It's hard to do. It's not important. Your ratio of fats, the grams of fats, the grams of carbs, they're not important for fat loss. Honestly, unless you are an elite athlete or a high level, professional sports person, you don't need to worry about your macros. Genuinely, like seriously. And then the other problem with personal trainers is that there's very little support outside of your session. So you're going to get that one-to-one, which is awesome. You're going to get someone who's more knowledgeable. You're going to get a great workout, and you're going to understand about exercise. But there's no like, oh, okay, so what's your week been like? Okay, what's your stress like? Here's some guidance to manage stress. Here's how to manage your sleep. There's little support on all those other areas. And as hopefully some of you will have seen, the focus on exercise, and exercise is really insignificant for fat loss. Like, it's great, like do it for mental health, do it for reducing stress and anxiety, but in terms of fat loss, it's pretty insignificant. And then obviously you can do it on your own and do a diet, keto diet, cabbage soup diet, whatever it is. And these are obviously the cheapest option, because you're doing it on your own and you're literally like following like said diet. And it can be super clear. And whilst you're following the diet, most people lose weight. Like, you jump on a diet, you lose some weight. But what next? What after the diet? The diet is not teaching you how to maintain. You're not getting an understanding of what you're doing, why it's working. There's little to support community. And most diets are not sustainable. Who's going to drink shakes for breakfast, lunch, and dinner for the rest of their life? Who's going to, have like, I don't know, cabbage soup, like 2 meals out of 3? And if you're not going to do the diet forever, and it's just a quick fix or a short-term solution, what next? You have to ask yourself these questions. Now, you're probably, so if you're new to the group, and I'm only going to be very quick on this. If you're new to the group, who am I? So I'm a level 4 nutritionist, a teacher, a sports scientist, but me and my team, we've helped hundreds of women. But from my perspective, I genuinely just want to help. I love ice cream. I love having a good quality of life, but I also value health. So from my point of view, it's showing people they don't have to remove everything from their diet. They don't have to have that restrictive approach. They can still get results. And there is a different way. You can 100% lose weight without counting calories. We've helped hundreds of women do it. And hopefully tonight you'll discover why diets, meal plans, diet alone is not a long-term solution. So far, if you're liking this, if this is helpful, if it's making sense, just press the like button, press the love heart button. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are so far. So just some examples, like Natalie, she's lost more than 40 pounds with us. She before she worked with us, she was meticulously calorie counting. She said she was on 1,200 calories a day. Nothing was happening. And we helped her with her calorie counting when she started working with us, but then we weaned her off it. She no longer calorie counts. She eats a chocolate bar every day or most days, and she's kept that weight off. She's no longer working with us in terms of coaching. She's just part of our community because she loves being a part of the community. Ange was another one. We started her with a bit of calorie counting, but she's no longer doing it anymore. And she lost 2 dress sizes in 12 weeks, stopped coaching after 12 weeks, remained part of our community because she loves being part of our community. She is now 4 dress sizes down. Sam, 47 pounds down, does 0 exercise. And, a lot of people say that, I don't have the time. I don't have the time to calorie counting. This lady was working 14-hour days in the middle of a pandemic, homeschooling her 2 boys, and has achieved incredible results. Like, genuinely, we've worked with women with 11 autoimmune conditions, with half a thyroid. Anybody can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to introduce the Revive method. I'm going to unpack our 3 pillars and explain how we can do this without calorie counting. So first of all, the first pillar is food freedom. Now, calorie counting can be good. If you've never done it before, it might be a good place to start because it will start to educate you around food. You're going to start to understand a little bit about what's in your food. But as I said, there will be inaccuracies. You'll understand what's high in protein, what's not. You'll be able to start dispelling some of the awful myths that are out there. But there are other methods and you don't have to calorie count. So one of the things that we've started utilizing is our own meal templates, not plans, meal templates. And I'll show you them in a minute. And if we have women that calorie count, our goal is before they leave is to move them away from that. So to give them strategies to gradually kind of wean off it and know how to do it. So what we call that is like learning to live. And there's other methods. So we've got the meal templates, but there isn't one way of doing this. So this is one of the problems. A lot of people say, well, how do you do it? It depends on the individual. There isn't one set approach. It's about finding the right approach. And this is why we work one-to-one, to find the best approach for each individual. So here's an example of a meal template. So there's a dinner template and here's the snacks. I don't know how clearly you can see that, but it's super simple. It literally takes about a minute to put a meal together. So this is the lowest calorie meal template we have. So as you can see on the snacks, so this is what snacks they could have every day. So they could have this person. So we personalize this for the individual. This person could have 2 glasses of white wine or a chocolate bar or 2 protein shakes or 3 biscuits. Every day they could have that. If they followed this, they get results. And the meal template empowers the individual. So it's not eat this for breakfast, this for lunch. For dinner, they have some example meals that they can pick from, but we give them the opportunity to choose. So pick something from this list, pick something from this list, pick something from this list, then add some veg and add some flavor, and they can construct their own meal. So they start to learn how to do it for themselves. And it's super, super easy. But this is just one approach. This might not work for everyone. This isn't the golden ticket. Okay, this is just an option. And there's so much more to fat loss, and I'm going to talk about that. Now, why do we not have this list of foods? Why do we not have this like one set approach? Why do we allow women to have flexibility, to drink white wine, to have chocolate? Because if you tell people there are rules, i.e. you can't have this food is bad, it actually increases cravings. And think about it logically. If someone tells you not to do something, think about something. You're constantly telling yourself, I can't do that. I can't have that. It's at the forefront of your mind. So if you're told, I'm not allowed carbs, you're constantly saying to yourself, can't have it. So you're thinking about it more. It increases your cravings. What actually eventually happens is this kind of binging or overeating, because there's guilt and there's shame once you've broken the diet. You feel like a failure. And then it's, I'll start again Monday. Like, tell me if this sounds familiar. Let me know in the comments if this sounds really familiar. Now, I'm going to move on because, as I said, I don't want to keep you all night. I want to try and be as succinct as possible. And I know I've gone on longer than 15 minutes already. And then pillar 2 for us is about sustainable steps. So habit formation and sustainable lifestyle changes. So what we do with that is we look at everything. It's a completely holistic approach. So we look at confidence. We look at sleep. We look at stress. We look at their home situation, how food's created at home, what their habits are day to day. We try and pick out the biggest challenges, the biggest barriers, or the biggest needle movers, and help them and give them guidance to make one step at a time. So what typically a lot of people do is they'll say, right, not allowed this, you're not allowed this, and you've got to do this. Problem with that is human beings have this knack of focusing on failure. It's actually a psychological term. I can't think of the name of it at the top of my head, where if you fail at something or you make a mistake, you'll focus on that one thing. Now, if you're doing that, that's what leads to demotivation. You're thinking, oh, well, I've failed that, so I might as well give up, or, it's not going very well. So whereas we try and make things as easy as possible, it's not easy. It requires change, and that's uncomfortable, but we try and make it as easy as possible. So we help people to make choices that they can make as long as they're willing and committed, and one step at a time. So all they got to do is make these small changes and gradually keep building on that, like building blocks. Like, you can still count calories and overeat. So it's more important to look at, what are your daily habits? What does your sleep look like? What does your stress look like? Because if they're not being managed, if you don't have a strategy, if you don't have guidance, tools to deal with those issues which are causing you to overeat, if you don't understand how to change your diet to make it more filling so you're less hungry, so you're not overeating, if you don't know how to manage your comfort, emotion, or why you're doing what you're doing, then you're still going to overeat even if you count calories. And then the last thing, and this is absolutely vital, pillar 3, rediscover and rewire your mindset. Often our eating habits, our behaviors, our lifestyle choices are down to the inner stuff, our self-worth, our self-belief, our mindset. So, I'll give you an example. I've heard women that say, I can't be bothered to cook for myself. Like, I've spoken to women that live on their own and, well, I live on my own, so I can't bother. That's a self-worth problem. They don't feel good enough or deserving of that. Because when I speak to those women about their children, their grandchildren, they would never say that. They would never say, I can't be bothered to cook for them. So why is it different? And that's down to self-worth. That's down to their inner mindset, and there's this common feeling, I'm not good enough. And there's certainly a common theme amongst women that I speak to, that essentially they're the bottom of the list. Everyone else is prioritized, their family, their kids, but ask yourself, in fact, no, we're going to do a task. I'm going to give you a task to do, but there's also your mindset around food, which plays a role. This is this relationship with food, about foods being bad and good. There are no bad foods. Like, one salad is not going to make you slim. One donut is not going to make you fat. It's about the sum of your diet. You can generally, by the way, I'm not recommending this, and we don't get our clients to eat just junk food, but you could just eat junk food and lose weight. You can just eat healthy food and gain weight. Like, it's about what the whole of your diet looks like. We recommend as much whole food as possible, but also including the stuff you love, and no food off limits. There's no bad foods. So as I said, PTs, diet clubs, diets, they can all be great. They all have positives. But what about maintenance? They don't give you the understanding of, okay, right, I've lost the weight. Now what? How do I keep it off? What about sleep, stress, and especially, during the menopause, those hormonal changes, they cause, like, during the menopause, it's terrible. And I can't empathize. Like, I hear it all the time, but I want, I'm very fortunate as a man, I'll never experience it. Luckily, all of my coaches are female, but, I will never experience that anxiety, that, that lack of self-worth that women go through as those hormone changes in the menopause. And what about lifestyle factors? What about, your self-worth? What about your mindset? With these other approaches, what about flexibility? Like, do they give you the guidance and understanding how to enjoy a holiday without it ruining everything, how to enjoy birthdays. You know, I can see Lorraine's doing loads of commenting tonight. I haven't been able to stop because I want to get through it so that I'm not keeping people all night. She had cake on her birthday for breakfast, guilt-free for the first time in her life. And she's been on holidays and has kept going. She's lost more than 4 stone, like in this time. Like we work with women, doesn't matter whether they're going on holiday, whether it's Christmas, whatever it is, because that's important to be able to guide them through those periods so they understand this is how you can maintain weight, have drinks, enjoy yourself through that period. You need to know those skills so that you can do this for the rest of your life. And what we found with these other approaches is in the long run, actually probably going to cost you more. You know, first of all, PTs are, you know, similar kind of expense to what we are because it's a one-to-one approach. So, you know, 60 to 200 pounds an hour. But the problem is you're not getting that support, that lifestyle support. You're not getting that education, that guidance. So you end up being with them longer. Like generally, I speak to women that have been with PTs for a year, 2 years, not seeing results, or they've seen results but can't sustain them because a lot of PTs will put you on such low calories, get you going to the gym 5 days a week, like doing things that you just can't sustain. So they end up costing more. You know, we've got women that have been at diet clubs for 10, 20 years. So it cost them thousands. And actually, you know, therefore it takes longer because you're going from diet to diet and losing weight, regaining it, and actually it takes longer in the long run. And because of them being harder approaches to stick to, because you get bored of them, or, you know, it's too hard to keep it up, or whatever it is, actually requires more motivation and willpower. Now, as I said, we've helped hundreds of women. So I'm going to give you some tips. As I said, I promised you, I'm going to give you some tips. I'm going to give you a task. So the first task I want you to do, and I'm not going to do it now because it will take too long. The first task I want you to do to work on your mindset, to work on your, this will give you more motivation. It hopefully will give you something to kick up the bum, is a task called the 5 whys. Now, what is that? How does that work? So first thing I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself, what's your goal? Okay, so first of all, what is your goal? Let me know in the comments what your goal is. And I'm going to do this with the first person that responds. So let me know in the comments, what is your goal? What is it you want to achieve? And I'll wait till the first person comments. Once you've got your goal, ask yourself why. Okay, so why do you want to achieve that goal? All right, as soon as I get a comment come up about someone's goal, what is they want to achieve, I can start giving you examples. Once you've asked yourself why, so let's say the goal is, there we go. So Colette is lose weight, sleep better. So Colette would then, the next task would be, why do you want to lose weight and sleep better? Let's say Colette responds and says, because I'm so tired, and like in terms of the sleep better, and in terms of the lose weight, I want to feel more confident. The next task would be to ask yourself why again. So why do you want to feel less tired, and why do you want to feel more confident? And keep asking those questions. And I'm not doing this in a pedantic way. I'm doing it like, be specific. So why is it you want to feel more confident? Why is it you want to, okay, so let's say they say, I want to feel more confident because I want to be able to, I want to feel sexier with my partner. Okay. Why do you want to feel sexier for your partner? Because my relationship isn't what it used to be. Why is your relationship not what it used to be? And keep asking yourself whys until you get to a real strong, okay, this is why I want to lose weight. And that's going to give you a lot more motivation. All right. Then I want you to do another task. I want you to write down, and I want you to spend this time on yourself. This is time for yourself. You are deserving of this. You're worth this. If you achieved your goal, how would you look? How would you feel? How would you be different? How would this benefit you as a person? So let's say, you know, Colette got better sleep. She lost weight. How would she feel? How would this benefit her? And most importantly, how would this benefit those that are close to you? So if you like felt more confident, more energetic, you know, had a spring in your step, you have more energy. How would this benefit those that are close to you? So, you know, would you have a better sex life? Would it improve your, you know, your relationship? Would you have more energy to run around the kids? So I want you to write all this down, because being super clear on this will be strong motivation, but I want you to keep it. This is just one task that we sometimes give to our clients to help them with their kind of that deeper motivation, but also this self-worth, that actually by putting themselves at the top of their priorities and along with everyone else and looking after themselves and realizing that they're important and they're worth it too, it actually will benefit everyone else in their life. It will benefit them, but it will benefit everyone else in their life. So it works on their self-worth, it works on their belief, it works on their motivation. And then I'm just going to finish with 5 top tips, and then I'm going to go because as I said, I want to try and be as concise as possible and be nice and quick and snappy and give you loads of value. So include small amounts of the stuff you love regularly. So no foods are bad. If you are cutting stuff out of your life that you love, you will not be able to do that forever. And I'm not saying you can eat, there is no such thing as a free food, but you need to learn how to include the stuff you love. Start to prioritize time for yourself. I speak to so many women who say, I don't have time for this, I don't have this. If your daughter, if a family member walked into your office while you're working or rung you while you're working and said, I'm in hospital, you would drop everything for them. Okay, it's about prioritizing and utilizing your time and realizing what is actually important. Like I give this example all the time. If I'm working and my daughter walks in and says, Daddy, come play with me, I will commonly say, I haven't got the time. It's not that I haven't got the time. I'm prioritizing my work and I'm being polite. I have got the time because if my daughter wasn't well or something was bad, I would drop everything. So think about that and start prioritizing yourself a bit more. Start prioritizing time. Find passion, hobbies, non-food related happiness and rewards. And when things are going well, reward yourself with that and use that time for stuff that you love that's not food related. So you're not always comforting with food, you're comforting with other stuff. Ask yourself difficult questions so you start to get to the root of what's going on. Why am I eating this? Is it related to stress, emotions? Start to recognize what's going on and be kinder to yourself. Your words are your thoughts and your beliefs. Like, you are worth it. You are good enough. You are deserving of love, of time. Be kind to yourself. It's super important. Anyway, I hope this evening has helped you. Let me know in the comments below if you've got value out of this. Press the like button, the love heart button if it was helpful, if it was interesting. If you have specific questions for me, feel free to send me a private message. Apologies that I haven't got round to the comments. I know there's been some awesome comments. I will respond probably tomorrow, and I've ended up taking over half an hour. So, okay, maybe not 15 minutes, but it's definitely shorter than most of them. So I hope you've enjoyed this evening. I hope you've got a lot out of it. If you've watched this evening and you think, do you know what? I want someone to take me through this. Like, this is an approach that I need. This is exactly what I need to do this for the rest of my life. Comment I'm next below, and I'll see if I've got 5-10 minutes this week, and we'll book you in for a short clarity call just to kind of see what's going on, see if we might be able to help or at least point you in the right direction. If we might be able to help you, then we could potentially book you in for a longer transformation call where we're going to do a real deep dive, and who knows, if it's a good fit, potentially talk about working together. But if you're interested in what we do and feel that we might be the answer, we might be able to help you because everything else hasn't worked, comment I'm next in the comments below, and we'll have a conversation, potentially book you in for that 5 to 10 minute clarity call and take it from there. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed this evening. I hope you've got a lot from it. And I'll see you all next Monday, 8 p.m. So every Monday, 8 p.m. if you're a newbie, don't miss it. All right, take care.